Welcome to From the VC's Bookshelf, a podcast from TBR, the College System of Tennessee, the state's largest higher education system. In this series, we examine how we might re-envision the work we do and how we work together as we move into a post-pandemic world. Please join our host, Dr. Heidi Lemming, Vice Chancellor for Student Success, as she leads a live discussion with industry experts and leaders throughout our system.
The Statewide Outstanding Achievement Awards and Recognition, or SOAR celebration, recognizes individuals who've been nominated by their institutions as being among the best of the best in the categories of faculty, staff, and students. This year's finalists went through an initial interview process where they were selected as a regional winner that then moved on to our final statewide competition. In this podcast series, I'll be showcasing the regional award winners in a short interview so that listeners can learn more about the faculty, staff, and student finalists from across the TBR system. It's my hope that by learning more about the regional finalists, listeners will get a sense of the amazing stories and backgrounds of the individuals who work and learn at our institutions. Today, I'm excited to be talking to our staff finalists for our community colleges. And rather than me introducing you all through a bio, I'm going to give you the opportunity to give your own introduction. So, obviously name and institution, what role you play at the institution, but then anything else you'd like to share with our listeners that you find, that you want to share, but also is particularly interesting would be good to note. So I'll start here with Jonathan, and then we'll kind of go around the room. All right.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Jonathan Graham, and I've worked at Motlow State Community College for the last 12 years. I began in 2012, and I currently serve as the Tennessee Promise Program Manager there.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Shelby McKenzie, and I'm the Director of High School Programs at Northeast State. I've worked there now for almost 13 years, and I've worked with dual enrollment students exclusively, the dual enrollment student gate or so, and it's a really exciting group of students to serve. When I'm not dual enrolling, I'm married to Brad McKenzie, who's the head of our theater department at Northeast State, so we're a big Northeast State family at home. And I'm also the mom to twins that are 2.5, River and Lorelei. So I'm very proud to be their mom too.
Wow, you have a very busy life.
I do.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, hi. My name is Kathy Roberts. I work at Jackson State Community College under the direction of Dr. Carol Rothstein. My title is Work-Based Learning Coordinator, which basically means that I have the great fortune of working with students to help them prepare to enter the workforce directly after graduation with AAS degrees, and particularly in the field of manufacturing. And I'm proud to say that part of my job is helping mold those young people and students into contributing citizens who are happy and whole, and upon graduation are very successful. I get to also work with manufacturers. I have about 32 manufacturers I coordinate with our program, and with them I help the workplace develop and improve so that they can accept and work better with our generation of graduates. So, and on the side, I'm a lover of animals, and I have two fur babies called Millie Pie and Snippy Doo.
Oh, great. I love those names. Well, thank you again for being here, spending some time talking with me today. Again, our listeners should know that you just completed interviews yesterday as a regional finalist for our staff award. And so, again, congratulations for making it this far in the process. We have a lot of staff across the system, and to be nominated by your institution in and of itself is a really noble accomplishment. But for you to make it to the final three is really, really something. So regardless of the outcome, you are a winner in our book. So congratulations. All right. Well, so I think the thing that our listeners would really be interested in hearing from you about a little bit in more detail is why do you like working at a community college? You've given a brief description about your role, but maybe, if somebody's not familiar with the community colleges, describe a little bit more about what your institution does. So let's start with Shelby first this time.
Sure. Well, Working at a community college is all I've ever known. It was my first sort of big kid job out of college back in 2011. And I'm very fortunate that it's always felt like such a good fit. And I think we're also really fortunate at community colleges that we get to focus so much on our students and their success. And that's probably my favorite part about working at a community college. We're also, I would say, a smaller institution. And so I think everybody at Northeast State is truly so student focused. And so it feels like we're all working towards the same goals, which is to help our students succeed. As the high school programs director, my primary responsibility is recruiting dual enrollment students and helping them find what they're passionate about, whether that's taking a couple of classes, taking their 5 free classes as part of dual enrollment so that they can get ahead, or working with middle college students to help them actually finish a degree over the last 2 years of high school, or working with our CTE dual enrollment students in what we call career academies, which allows them to complete technical certificates over the last 2 years of high school. There's so many opportunities that we have at Northeast State for this student population. And the other great thing I think about my job is that I not only work with dual enrollment students and their parents, they're a big part of this too, but I also get to work really closely with our high school partners, with principals, counselors, directors of school, and we get to collaborate together to bring these opportunities to the students in our region. And I have to mention them because I couldn't do my job successfully without those partnerships. And a lot of these folks out in the high schools that I've worked with, that I work with now, I've worked with my entire career, which is really exciting. And it's been so special to get to nurture those relationships for the benefit of our students.
Yeah, great. So many things involved with your job.
Yes, it's demanding, but I love it so much, and I feel so passionate about it. I'm actually originally from Mississippi, and I love Mississippi, but Mississippi doesn't necessarily have a lot of the same opportunities for students that we have here in Tennessee, like Tennessee Promise, Tennessee Reconnect, 5 free dual enrollment classes. You know, there's almost something for everybody in our state. And growing up there, I didn't have anything like a dual enrollment opportunity come my way. And if it had cost anything, I don't know that I would have been able to do that. And so I think for that reason, that has really kind of ignited this passion that I have to bring these opportunities to students in our region and I really feel, be a cheerleader for them as an advisor. And my role is also being their advisor to help them succeed and to help them find something that gets them excited about continuing in higher education or entering the workforce.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Jonathan, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So what I really enjoy about working at a community college is it's familiar to me. I went to a community college. That was my first destination. I want to say out of high school, but it wasn't. I had kind of a non-traditional story, so I didn't go to college right out of high school. My mom, it was just me and my mom growing up. She was a single parent, never went to college, so we didn't know how to do college. We didn't know how to do the enrollment process. So when I was growing up, I think the Hope Scholarship was fairly new, and we had messed up the FAFSA application during my high school senior year, and back then it was the paper FAFSA. So you would fill out the paper FAFSA and you would mail it in, and then if you got it wrong, they would mail it back to you, and you had to make corrections. So we had no idea what we were doing, and so I missed the deadline, and so all of my friends, a lot of my friends went to like UT Knoxville and various different colleges, and I kind of just stayed back and worked for a few years.
Okay.
And so when I was 23, I decided to go to Nashville State Community College. It was local. And I was terrified. I drove past the campus several times before I worked up the courage to actually go inside the school to get information. But my time at Nashville State Community College really, it was wonderful. It was a great experience. And so I had a lot of really great faculty members and a lot of great advisors that I got really close to at Nashville State Community College. And when I was there, I was still figuring out what I wanted to do career-wise. Didn't quite know. And I had a great advisor and professor there, Marla Perry. She was fantastic, and I think she still works at Motlow, or I'm sorry, at Nashville State. And I wanted to give back to students the same way that she gave back to me. She played a pivotal role in my life as not just a student, but as a human. You know, she helped me out a lot when I was a young man there. And so I wanted to give back the way that she gave back to me. And so at that point, I knew I wanted to work in higher education and preferably at a community college. I actually worked at Nashville State at their Southeast campus. I worked the front office and was trained on Banner very early on. I'm so grateful because they just entrusted this young person to learn Banner screens at like 20 years old, you know.
And for our listeners, Banner is our student information system. So we have to make sure that the average person probably doesn't know what Banner is, but it's a student information system. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But it really helped me because when I saw a part-time advisement position come open at Motlow State Community College, I had that experience.
Sure.
And I was able to apply there and become a part-time advisor. And so I did that, and I became a full-time student success advisor, full-time student success coach, and then a completion coach. So that was my main role at Motlow for the first 3 years that I worked where there was advising students and serving at-risk student populations, making sure that they were registered and got to graduation. And then in 2015, when Tennessee Promise came along, our president at the time asked me to take that on. And so I've been serving Tennessee Promise students ever since for the better part of a decade. It doesn't feel like that. Time has really gone by really fast. But I help students. I do a little bit of recruitment. I go into the high schools with our recruitment team. I speak to any students from 7th grade to high school, speak to them about the benefits of attending a community college. I assist them through the admissions process, the enrollment process, financial aid process, and then do registration and orientation as well. But then also work with students, build relationships, and work with those students along the way if they face challenges. All of our students face challenges along the way, and a lot of the time we're there to assist them through those obstacles that they face to make sure that they return. But one of the things I love about working at a community college is that it's a tight-knit community. Students really get to know their faculty members. They really get to know their staff. They're not a number, and they get the sense that people really care about them because people really do care about them. Yeah. And it feels like a family working there. The next thing that I really encourage students to take advantage of is free tuition opportunities. Like we said, if Tennessee is doing an excellent job offering dual enrollment, Tennessee Promise and Tennessee Reconnect. I don't know of any other state that's really stepped up to make college free, or that possibility free. So I just encourage students as much as possible to take advantage of that and to not take on any debt if possible when attending college.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Jonathan. All right, Kathy, how about you?
Okay, well, I'm kind of the old lady at the table.
Oh.
And so I think my career began, or my idea of a career began early. My parents had instilled a really strong foundation for me in education and community. And when I moved to West Tennessee, I originally from Alabama, but I moved to West Tennessee and started really appreciating my community. My career began always with program development for youth, and I have done many different roles in working with young people and trying to enhance their lives and finding ways to help them to be successful. And so when the opportunity at Jackson State came up, I thought, wow, that's community and education together. That's a natural for me. So I started working at Jackson State, and when our engineering systems technology program opened their co-op program, they asked me to kind of oversee that, which gave me the opportunity to really do what I do. I was able to create a program that allows students to be successful. So they start out as coming to Jackson State for a couple days a week, and we put them in manufacturing facilities where they're actually getting to work as maintenance technicians, and they're earning a salary or an hourly wage every semester. They get raises, and so I get to see success immediately. They get to see success immediately, which I think is the most important thing. Once they graduate, though, and it doesn't mean that money doesn't mean everything, but it's certainly a measure of success when I see one of my students graduating on Saturday and going to work on Monday making $32 an hour. What's even more satisfying is, in fact, when I had the SOAR interview on Zoom, I was trying to do the interview, and my graduates start showing up at the door because that's so rewarding that even after they graduate, they still want to come back and say, "Hey, Miss Kathy, guess what? I got a raise. I'm doing this. I'm doing that," and I actually get to see that they are working in the community and building a stronger community. And I think that's what we're here to do. Part of my job is to help remove the barriers, or at least make it easier to transition from high school to college to the real world. And I get the wonderful opportunity of seeing these, the majority of them are traditional aged college students, but I get to see them grow in those 2 years. I said Monday in the hallway, they were coming toward, I was going one way and they were coming the other, and I thought, oh, all my grown-ups, they're coming. I said, 2 years ago, you all looked like high school students, and today you look like real grown-ups, real adults going to work. And I'm really proud of the program that I oversee. I'm really proud that Jackson State was able to see the need in the community and create a program that enhanced our community and provided a service for manufacturers in our area. And they kind of allow me to be me, and allow me to assess the situation and implement things that I think will work, or try things that don't always work, but they give me the opportunity to do that. And I am just really proud to work at Jackson State for those reasons. And I'm super, super proud of the students that I work with. And every day that I go home, you sometimes have to find success in different ways. Not everybody can make a touchdown, but if you can gain some yardage, that's success. So every night when I go home, I do a little self-assessment, and there's never a night that I don't find a success story. And I'm so blessed to have that opportunity to work somewhere that provides that.
That's great. So the thing that I'm hearing from all three of you as finalists is that in some capacity you're serving as like a mentor to students, and you're helping students navigate a process or get them some experience that they may otherwise not consider. So that's the, I think, important role that a lot of our staff play. You're a good representation of the larger staff that we have at each of our campuses. So thank you for sharing those examples. So, again, you're supporting students, and I think it's natural to think there's probably a million different ways that you support students. You've already discussed whether it's financial aid or career pathways, various things. Are there other ways that maybe you're supporting students that people wouldn't naturally think of fitting into your job that you might want to highlight?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll start.
Okay.
I think it makes my job interesting, because I'll support my students any way they want to be supported, whether it's a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning, eLearn, which is our online system for homework and testing. eLearn's down, or maybe it's an unfortunate phone call. They're having an issue at home that they don't know how to handle, and they don't know who else to turn to. Or maybe it's, I don't have money for lunch. Or I know one of my students one time was working, and their employer called and said if they don't get a work belt soon, they're not going to be able to keep their job. So I called the student and said, you need to get a work belt. It's very simple to solve your problem door. He was like, yeah, okay, I was going to do that, but I was saving money for my coat. I was like, okay. So we, prioritized this, and I was able to provide services for him that he could have both, to keep his job and be warm. So it could be, I can support them any way they need to make their journey through their higher education better, to make their dreams come true, to make it a reality for them. Sometimes it's talking to parents. Sometimes I support them by talking to a parent about the best way to be a parent for a college student. And so in happy ways, I'll go to a birthday party or a graduation party. They call me Mama Cat for a reason. So I get to support them in any way that makes it easier for them and makes their life better, and I love it.
Yeah, that's great. How about the other two?
Yeah, to tag along with that, we were speaking a little bit about being a mentor, and sometimes it's just teaching basic life skills too. So for example, helping a student with a resume, helping a student understand how to write an email to a professor or a professional point of contact.
Right.
And then or what I'm seeing lately too is getting a driver's license. I don't know if y'all have noticed or not, but students are getting driver's license later in life. So knowing how to schedule an appointment with the DMV to get a driver's license, where to go to actually study to take a test. And then there's those external issues that come up that we want to help out with as well that prevent a student's success. So recently had a student who lost his mom, and it was just he and his mom. And Motlow and his church were really the only family that he had. So helping that student go to the Murfreesboro Housing Authority so that he could have a place to live, helping him set an appointment with the food bank, making sure that he knew once he got his place to live how to pay his electric bill, making sure that was paid. So those external things that come up that, I think they're talked about more and more now, but may not be thought of when you talk about student success and a student being successful in college.
Right. Life. Mm-hmm.
I think what we're all saying is that the best way to support students is to build relationships, and I've found that to be true. We actually started a middle college a couple of years ago with one of our partnering school systems, and we were very new to the concept of middle college when we started it. I remember having a lot of conversations with Dr. Den at TBR about what is a middle college and how do we do this, And after that first year with that school system, we kind of had some time to reflect, to think, how can we help these students with this transition? Because what a middle college is, for the listeners at home, is the opportunity for juniors in high school to earn an associate's degree over the last 2 years of high school. So it's a huge undertaking, a big responsibility, and they go from being kind of regular high school students to being a full-time college student just overnight. And how do we help them make that really big transition? And how do we also kind of prepare their parents for this transition? Because, their home life now is going to be a lot different too. They're going to be studying a lot more. This is such a big commitment that everybody in the student's life needs to kind of support and be excited for them, right? And so we decided, and this sounds like such a simple idea, but it made such a big difference for this cohort of students. So we decided to have what we called a middle college orientation at Northeast State Elizabethton, which is where they take a lot of their coursework. But it wasn't just for the students, it was for their parents too. But we wanted it to really feel like a party. So we invited our mascot, and we had cupcakes, and we threw out T-shirts, and it just really helped them see that they were really a part of the Northeast State family, and that we were all on the same team, which was to help them at the end of the 2 years, help them walk across the stage with this associate's degree. And it was amazing, and it helped us really start the academic year on such a positive note. And we're like, why didn't we think of this sooner? But again, being new to middle college, we didn't know what we didn't know. So very proud of that and how that has impacted those students and helped them be set up for success. And I also think, as high school programs director, I work a lot with our foundation, who has connections with different counties in our service area. And they're able to help us create proposals so that we can have what we call career readiness scholarships for our CTE dual enrollment students that will pay gap funding beyond what the dual enrollment grant will cover, which helps those students then earn those technical certificates at no cost. As long as they're still qualified for the dual enrollment grant, they can get access to this other scholarship funding. And so that allows our CTE dual enrollment students to earn a certificate in high school when they would not have been able to do so due to cost, and that sort of thing. And so that's another way that I look at supporting students that's so important, because if we didn't have access to those funds and the support of the different counties in our region, we would not be able to have those opportunities for our CTE students.
Right. And that really ties in nicely with my next question, which is, so in your role, if you were to go out into the community and talk with a community partner about how, let's say they just I want to help, how can they help you in your role? What would you say to them? Like, where are the areas that they could lean in? You might want to follow up, because you just gave some examples there. Maybe there's additional things that you have on your wish list that you would put out there to a community partner.
Wow. not all of our counties in our service area are able to do this sort of extra scholarship funding for our students for various reasons. But wow, it would be amazing if they all could, if they could all invest in their high school students in that manner. I think for me, though, what I would really have to say, I feel community partners every day in the form of high school personnel, principals, counselors, directors of school. I would really just have to say thank you for sharing their students with us, because they certainly don't have to. But I think that we have a really good reputation in East Tennessee with our dual enrollment program. And, we couldn't have this program without their support and without their collaboration. And I'm so thankful for that, because it makes my job a lot easier when we have that buy-in from, our community.
Yeah, that's great. Kathy, what about you?
Well, I piggyback a little bit on what Shelby's saying too, and I do it every day too, working with the manufacturers. In West Tennessee, manufacturing's growing so quickly. Our program started with 4 manufacturers, and right now I have 32 active, 38 on my list that I work with on a very regular basis. So I thank them for doing what they do. But on a big scale, in a big picture, I would ask for more financial contributions to our foundation to provide some additional resources for our students or equipment, because equipment and needs and technology is changing all the time. So that would be on really a big picture. Being a mentor for Tennessee Promise, helping students that are coming into the college do that bridge from high school to college would be great to have more involvement from the community with that. And then on a personal note, directly with my program, and my manufacturers do this, but I can't do it enough. Come into the classroom, speak to the students, let them know, hey, because what I see is when my manufacturers are working with the students, that's who my students want to be one day. They want to be that guy or that lady standing in front of the classroom. So the more I can get exposure to them, meeting them and talking to them about soft skills, about how to do their jobs, that would be great. To serve more as a co-op partner, provide employment opportunities for the students when they graduate, and serve as consultants for the professors who are trying to keep an up-to-date curriculum. Technology's changing, automation's changing, robotics is getting bigger and bigger every day, and we don't know what we don't know. So them serving as consultants for our professors would be so great to make sure that our curriculum's staying cutting edge at all times.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Jonathan, what about you?
Same. I was going to say the same thing. Absolutely. I think I would love for any and all community partners to do as much outreach to us as possible. The more that we could establish a direct line of employment from graduation from Motlow to a community partner, the better. So if we have a direct line of employment, we know that need is there. That would be wonderful to be able to connect our students to those employers directly following their graduation. I would say, and also with them connecting to us, we love to have any workforce partners, community partners in the classroom, career days. A lot of employers, if they want to come and set up tables for career days, that students don't know what careers exist sometimes. They don't know until they're actually in front of that person. And then also, I would say, as they interact with young folks, simply encouragement, encouraging young students that these paths exist, and to encourage students to take advantage of these pathways as well. I think simply encouraging young people goes a long way. And then just to encourage them to connect with resources on campus if those students are interested in going to college, so that they can speak with staff early on so that they don't miss important deadlines.
Yeah, great. Well, we're at the end of our time. So again, I just want to thank you for sitting and sharing with me. It's been really interesting to hear some of your stories about your work. So thank you. And again, congratulations on being a finalist.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this edition of From the VC's Bookshelf, brought to you by TBR, the College System of Tennessee, powering the state's economy and changing the lives of thousands of graduates, starting successful careers each year. To learn more about upcoming book selections or to register to attend discussions live, visit tbr.edu/bookshelf.